it live again?
Yep.
So it's not.
Oh, share to group. There you go.
It's been shared to the group.
Hang on. Share to group. I'm going to share it now to the Blueprint series.
Yep. But will that be on my football as well? And God, great with all this technology, isn't I? Right, is it live?
Yep.
So is it live to everyone and to the group?
Yeah, I've just shared it to the group as well.
Oh, sweet, isn't that? Right, I'll just bring it up on the computer once it refreshes. Jay, dive when you're ready. Is it live to everyone and to the group?
Yeah, just share.
Oh, let's mute that. Right, let's go. Right, so Thai chicken curry and rice. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to get all the ingredients prepped, get it all chopped up, ready to go, and then we'll start cooking bits. So the first thing we're going to do is get the chicken ready so we can put that in the fridge so it's out of the way until we're ready to start the next bit. So what I've got here, again with the recipe that I sent out, that was enough to make enough for 4 people. Excuse me, so I'm going to do that, so I've got some friends over and my cameraman and they're all going to have dinner with me tonight. So first thing you're going to do is take your chicken breasts or your chicken thighs, remove any of the sinews and nastiness off the chicken, and then you're just going to cut it into nice little strips. Again, this sort of stuff, you can cut it as big or as little as you want. It's entirely up to you. There's no set way of doing it. I'm just going to cut it into nice little pieces like that, 2.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres. Get rid of that little bit there. And then just pop all that into a container. And then we'll pop that in the fridge until we are ready to cook it. This way, doing your meat first as well, you know, cross-contamination, you can get your meat prepped, stick it back in the fridge, get it out of the way, and then you can get all your vegetables prepped and all the other stuff prepped, ready to go. You alright, Sarah? How you doing? Make sure you're cooking next week. That pork chop dish is going to be banging. Cut that nice out completely. So yeah, like I say, again, with the size of the chicken, it's entirely up to you. If you're using thighs, you know, same principle, cut them as big, as little as you want. There's no set way of cutting it. That's it. And then once all that's chopped up, bang that in the fridge and we'll get that back out when we need it. Steve, will you chuck it in the fridge for me? Right. Clean all this down, no more raw meat, all vegetables and stuff like that. So you can get rid of all of this, have a little wipe down, and then we're ready to go for the next bit. So, the next thing we're going to make on the recipe is the Thai green curry paste. So make sure you've got all your ingredients ready for the Thai green curry paste, and then we're going to prep it all, chuck it in the blender, let's it all up. So, Thai green curry paste. Again, with this, if you've got a food processor, fantastic, brilliant. If not, I'm just using my little lamb blender thing. If you haven't got that, you know, chop it up as small as you can, really chop it up, but the best thing to do with it would be to blend it. So, first thing we're going to do is, I've got my notes here as well, but you can't see that. So, onion and garlic. On the recipe, it said 2 shallots, but if you've got one nice big banana shallot, that'll be absolutely fine. Peel your shallots, make sure you get all the skin off, any nasty bit of root, take that out, and you're just going to chop it up. The smallest you can get it, you're going to blend it, gets it up anyway, so it's no dramas, you can't chop it really, really small. And there's no specific way to chop it, just, you know, chop it up. Make sure you take the root out, cut it at an angle, so you get all the root out. And then you cut it nice and small. Obviously, the smaller you chop it, the quicker and easier it will be to blend up, but again, no drama if you don't. Chuck it right in now. Garlic, just give it a little bash. I mean, 3 or 4. check my notes, 4. Only need 4, yeah. If you've got really big bowls of garlic, then obviously, you know, put less in. But again, with the garlic, it's your preference. If you want it a bit more garlicky, put a bit more in. If you want it less garlicky, don't have to put any garlic in it at all if you want. You know, it's all about your own flavour and your tastes and what you like. So, but for me, 4, plenty of garlic. Make sure you get all the skin off, any little bits of root, peel that off, chuck it in the blender, and then we're going to make loads of noise. So what we're going to do, we're going to blitz it a little bit at a time each stage. If you just bang all the ingredients in, if you've got a nice big beastie blender, like a Thermomix or something like that, you could just chuck it all in once and blitz it up. But with this, it's easier if you do a little bit at a time. So we've got the onions in there and the garlic, so we're going to blitz that first. Next thing you're going to do is take the lemongrass, cut the roots off, take off the outer layer of the lemongrass, just that nasty bit there. And then, literally, all you're going to do, back of the knife, just bash it up a little bit like that. Do both of them. Break it all up, get it blitzed up anyway. Then when it's like that, just be a little bit easier. Run your knife through it again, chop it nice and small. And then that'll be ready to go in the blender for the next bit. Then the next one is your ginger. A little piece of ginger. All you want to do is peel as much of this off. Well, peel all the skin off. You can go around it like this. Now there is a little trick. You can get a spoon, scrape it all off with a spoon. It comes off quite easy. It's not difficult to peel, but get all that off. There we go. Remove all that. And then again, same with this. Chop it up nice and small. Again, it doesn't matter. You know, it hasn't got to be all the same size and all nice and neat and uniform. It's all going to go in the blender. Right, so that's your ginger done.
You might need to do another knife sharpening tutorial for Sam at some point.
Sam who? Regan.
Sanders.
Sam out for Saunders.
Regan don't exist anymore.
No, she'll always be Regan. She will always be Regan. Right, for the chillies. With this, depending on how hot you want your curry, you can use hotter chillies, you can use weaker chillies. For me personally, I always take the seeds out. I don't like having seeds in there, and I don't want it too hot. You know, I like a bit of heat, I like a bit of spice, but sometimes if it's too hot, it just ruins the curry and you can't really taste anything else. So for me, cut your chillies in half, like that. Scrape all the seeds out, get rid of all of them. Make sure you wash your hands after this, you know, because if you touch anything, your eyes, your face, your mouth, you'll be a little bit hot. So
hello to Louis and Archie as well.
Louis and Archie. Louis, Archie, how you doing, boys? Next time we do this, Louis, your mummy's going to get the ingredients and you're going to cook along with me, alright? So you make sure you tell your mum she's got to go out and buy the stuff. How have you seen them comments? Are they coming up on my phone?
Yeah.
Ah, clever you, let's see. So we're all doing that and I'm doing this. Alright, so once all the seeds are out, give your hands a good wash. Right. And then, right, so we'll start blitzing it up. Right. If you've got your limes, just half a lime will be fine. Got your fish sauce and your ground cumin. So again, like I say, with a lot of these spices and stuff like that, you know, this is a recipe, you know, you can't go wrong with this. It's quite a simple, straightforward recipe, but there's loads of tweaks and stuff that you can make to your own personal preference. Again, you can put more spices, you can put less spice, you can put more chillies, less chillies, ginger, stuff like that. If you want to make it without the chicken, just add more vegetables to it. It's so straightforward. It's not difficult at all to, you know, mess about with it and do it to your own preference. You know. So what we're going to do now then, make a bit of noise. Going to blend up the chillies and the garlic together first. Can you still see this thing?
Yep.
So we'll blitz that up. Right. You see that? All nicely blitzed up. Right. And then all we'll do, chuck the lemongrass in, the ginger, the chillies, Again, do the same thing, blitz nuts out of it. What you'll find if you've got a blender like this, or even if you've got a like a food processor or stuff like or something like that, every now and then just scrape everything down off the sides. That's it. And then get the lid back on there. Might take a few minutes to do this, but again, it's not a drama. So once that's all blitzed up, it will go more like a paste the more you blitz it. Is you're going to take half a bunch of coriander, and I think this is about a 100-gram bunch of coriander, but this is plenty. I like my Thai green curry to have a lot of coriander in it. Good thing with coriander, you just trim off the little knobby bits at the end, little stalks. You can use all of this. All of this is good. Stalks and everything. Stalks, the leaves, the lot. Just run your knife through it, chop it up a little bit. Again, it's all going to go in the blender, so you don't need to go crazy with the chopping. Chop all that up. Bang that in out like that. At this stage as well, you can add in your cumin. Again, with the cumin, you can have as much or as little as you want. 1 teaspoon of that in there like that. And then with the fish sauce, it says a tablespoon, but I have got tablespoons. But I like the fish sauce. I think it gives it a bit of seasoning, gives it a bit of salt. So I'm going to put 2 in there for me because I like it. There you go, a bit more for luck. And then squeeze a lime. Make sure you shouldn't have any pips in your lime. Make sure you get a nice good squeeze of lime juice in there as well. And then before you start blending, again, make sure you get it all down from the sides, just like that. And then squeeze the lime out. Now you've got now you've got the coriander in there and the fish sauce, and have a little bit more liquid in there. Now some of the water will come out of the leaves and stuff like that, so it will mix more like a paste.
Do you have to pull that face when you shake it, or?
Who said that?
I'm just asking.
Gives it more oomph, makes the machine work better. And you'll start to smell that already. You'll smell the coriander, you'll smell the fish sauce, the ginger, the garlic, everything. You'll smell all that. So with this blender, I'm probably not going to get it much finer than that. I'll give it a little bit longer, but you know, I haven't got a food processor at the moment. If someone wants to donate a food processor, what you like?
No, Sam agrees it's a compulsory face. If you don't stick your tongue out, you're not concentrating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should see the faces I put when I'm on the parts. I think I might have to pop into work and borrow a Thermomix next week. What do you reckon? Andy, are you watching? What do you reckon? Do you reckon I'll be allowed to borrow a Thermomix? Take the one from the 4-week floor. I think Andy's watching. Is Andy still watching? I can't see. Yeah. I think I might ask Santa Claus for that. So like I say, it's more or less a paste. You could get it a lot finer than that, you could get it more pasty than that, but to be honest, it's a curry, do you know what I mean? It's not, you know, it's not going to be an amazing looking dish, it's a curry, right? It's going to taste nice, that's what it's about the flavour. Get as much flavour in there as you can, you know. I'll give it another little bit of that. I think what we'll do, we'll leave that in the blender for now, and then just before we come to start cooking it, we'll let some of the juices come out of the vegetables and chillies and all this, that and the other. We'll leave it there to blitz up for a little bit longer. We'll leave that to just sit for a little bit, and then we'll try and blitz it up a little bit more. But again, if you haven't got an amazing food processor and you can't get it like a proper pasty paste, it's really not the end of the world. So, I'm gonna break this now. No, I won't do that. There we go. Right, so put that to one side, and then we'll start getting the next lot of vegetables ready. Where's it gone? Have you broke my laptop?
No.
What have you done, Steve?
I was trying to
There we
share
go.
you.
Right, so, again, with this, the vegetables that you decide to put into your curry are entirely up to you. You can have whatever vegetables you want. Me, I've gone for some baby sweet corn, some mangetout, and some mushrooms. Unfortunately, in the supermarket yesterday and today, the only mushrooms I could find were some that were already prepped, which is not the end of the world. So in here we've got some shiitake, some enoki, and some oysters. They're the what did I say?
Shiitake and
No, oysters. Enoki, shiitake. They're the shiitake, they're the oysters, and they're the enoki. These mushrooms are like a big mushroom like that. It's got quite a big head on it, big long mushroom, and they've just sliced them like that. So all you want to do with the mushrooms, again, nothing fancy, just go through. You don't want them too small, because when you pan fry them, they'll all wilt down to nothing, so you just want to chop through them. Get the oysters, you can tear the oysters in half like that. Take the mushrooms going at the end now. Yeah, just cut them in half, chop them down small. You know, you can have them wherever you want, as big as small. It's not a drama, you know. Not too small. Just tear them up like that. Break them up. Gosh, that's the mushrooms done. You know, again, it's simple. There is no specific set way of how you do this. It's entirely up to you. If you want to leave them nice and chunky, leave them nice and chunky. It's not a drama. It's absolutely fine. With the mangetout, again, if you want to leave it whole, leave it whole. Nice big piece of mangetout like that in your curry, not a problem. If you want to cut them in half, cut them in half. If you want to cut them really small, cut them really small. If you want to go through juliennums, they look like nice like that going through the curry. Again, it's your preference. It's your curry. You do it the way you want to do it. You know, as long as you get the vegetables in there, it's fine. I'm just going to go through very quickly, cut all these in half. No specific order. Just so they're a little bit smaller. I find that if they are smaller, they do cook a little bit quicker, but obviously they will go mushy quick and break up quick as well. So, you know, depending on what size you cut them, you need to make sure you don't cook them for too long. What's that? You saying that, Tony, other than yourself, I don't know anyone else that is still actually cooking in any sort of professional anyway. I don't know if there is anyone still cooking, especially from our class. I know Pidge, that's my friend Steve Lakin. Last time I spoke to him, he's in Australia and he's still chefing and he's still cooking and stuff like that. But it's been a while since I spoke to him. But yeah, I don't know of anyone at my local who I went to college with that is actually still in the kitchen, which is quite sad, really. You know, because the year group that me and Tony were in, you know, we had some, I think you'll agree, Tony, we had some absolutely, you know, savage, really good chefs in our year, you know, both the level 2s and the level 3s. So the fact that, you know, not many of them, or if any, are still cooking, it's quite sad, but, you know, it's not for everyone. You know, some of the kitchens I've worked in have been quite tough, you know, they've been hard kitchens to work in. So yeah, with the sweet corn, exactly the same as the mangetout, cut it however you want. Me, I'm just going to cut them in half at an angle. No, I'm not going to fanny about with it too much. If you want to cut them in half down the middle so you get nice long pieces, if you want to chop them up like that, it's up to you. You know, cut them however you see fit. They're only going to go in the end of the curry right at the end anyway, so they're only going to be in there for like 2 or 3 minutes. So you don't want them too big, otherwise they will take ages to cook. But if you want to put them in a little bit sooner, not a drama. So we'll get all these chopped up quickly. So yeah, prep time for this curry, other than making the actual curry paste and that, doesn't take that long to prep it, to be honest with you. It's pretty straightforward. Once you've got all the vegetables prepped like this, you're pretty much good to go. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of the coriander, got a little bit of basil here, just literally not too posh. Just rinse that out quickly. Just going to take some coriander and some basil. I'm going to rub your knife through it really roughly, chop it up, and just put that through the curry right at the end. Just a bit of fresh herbs and stuff like that, a bit of a fresh flavour. I'm livening it up a little bit. So yeah, nice and tight with the coriander, so you get it nice and chopped. Probably want about a handful from the top of the leaves like that. Then the same with the basil. Again, if you want to pick it and pick all the stalks out, that's absolutely fine. But like I said, it's a curry. We're not fucking about it here. We're just making something nice and tasty to eat. So you just leave the stalks in, chop through it like that, bang it into a container, keep that to one side. Then right at the end, you just chuck a nice big handful in that, stir it through just as we dish it up, just to liven it up a little bit. And I think that is pretty much everything prepped. So we've got the vegetables that we're going to put in there. Steve, can you grab that chicken out of the fridge for me, please? So we've got the chicken and the mushrooms that we're going to cook first. Then we're going to put the paste into a frying pan, cook that out, add the coconut milk and the vegetables just at the end. We've got some more seasonings in here. We've got the lime leaves, a little bit more lime, stock cube or a little bit of stock paste. I use these normal ones, they're really good. I like the flavour of them, they're quite nice. If you want to use a vegetable one, that's fine, chicken one, or if you just want a normal stock cube, again, that's absolutely fine. Coconut oil to seal the meat off, and then your rice. Now, depending on how much rice you want, I said in the recipe 30 grams per portion. It's quite a big curry, there's quite a lot of meat and vegetables in there. If you want to have more rice, add more rice. If you want to have less rice, add less rice. I've gone for 30 grams a portion, and then with the rice, when you cook it, once you've got the, when you get to the stage in a minute where we're putting the chicken and the mushrooms in with the sauce to actually start building up the curry, that's when we'll put the rice on. What I'm going to do now is, it's always best to wash your rice. So I'm going to take the rice now, I'm going to run it under cold water for about 5-10 minutes until the water runs clear, just to wash it off really well. Once that's done, I'm going to put it into a saucepan, and then I'm going to pour double the amount of water to rice. So there's 120 grams of rice here, so I'm going to put 240 millilitres of water, boiling water, over the top of this. Going to put the lid on, boil it for a minute, give it a quick stir, then put the lid back on and just turn it onto a low heat, and then just leave it for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, take the lid off, give it a good fluff up, take a little piece out, take a bite of it. If it's still a little bit chalky in the middle and it needs a little bit longer, bang the lid on it. If you need to top it up a little bit more water, then you can, and just do it until the rice is cooked. So if we put this on at a certain time, then the rice and the curry will be both cooked at the same time.
Sarah Reynolds would like to know, what can she use instead of mushrooms?
Instead of mushrooms, I've got recipes that have... Is that too noisy? I've got curry recipes, Thai green curry recipes that have got new potatoes in it. So if you wanted to take the mushrooms out and you could put new potatoes in, all you do with them is you could slightly soft boil them first, drain them off, and then once you've sealed your chicken off and you started making your sauce, you could put the potatoes in there. With the vegetables, Sarah, you can use whatever you want. It's a Thai green curry. I've seen people do Thai green curry. You can put red onions in it, red peppers, yellow peppers. Oh, I have missed something, green peppers. Yeah. I've got a couple of green peppers here. All I'm going to do, cut the sides off. I knew I forgot something. Cut the bottom off. And then with these, the little white bit in the middle, just knock that out. Cut the peppers into 4. And that's it, ready to go. And the other thing with vegetables as well, it depends how soft you like them. When I have a curry, I like nice crunchy, not raw, but crunchy vegetables in there. There's nothing worse than getting a curry or something like that, and you go to bite into the vegetables and then it's just all mush. It ruins the sauce. It all goes a little bit pissy and that. Not too much. So yeah, I like to keep the vegetables nice and large, nice and chunky. But yeah, sorry Sarah, any vegetables you want, whatever is your preference, go crazy with it. This is just like a basic sort of curry recipe. What you do is entirely up to you. You can put different types of onions, different peppers, green beans, that's another good one. You can put green beans, 1, 2. If anyone knows what okra is, lady fingers, quite weird looking, they look like a crippled finger with a little root on the end, you could put some of them through it if you want. Again, whatever vegetables you've got really. I'd avoid sort of like rooty sort of vegetables like carrots and stuff like that, because you can put them in there if you want, but it'll take a while to cook. But I'd stick to like these sorts of vegetables if you want. And again, if you don't like mushrooms, don't put them in. Put more of the other vegetables in there.
Tupney wanted to know, can the paste be used for a base for other dishes?
Yeah, of course. That is your Thai green curry paste. So if you wanted to use that, and then, you know, I don't know, say if you wanted to take this paste, you could pour it all over this chicken, marinate the chicken in it, leave it overnight, leave it for an hour, marinate the chicken with it, stick it on a skewer, and then barbecue it. Thai green chicken, barbecue Thai green chicken. This is your paste. We're going to use this as a basis. You can use this as a marinade, you can use this to make sauces. You know, yeah, absolutely you could, 100%. So I've left this for a little bit longer. It started to go a little bit, some of the liquid started to go out of it. So I'm just going to give it another little whisk, see if we can't get it a bit more pasty. But again, if you can't, it's not the end of the world. That'll be good. Get a spoon. You see that, Steve? Let me take the plate out. I'm definitely getting a food processor for Christmas. You can see that. It's not quite, you know, a traditional, like, pasty, but for what we're doing, that'll be absolutely fine. You know, we're going to cook it right out anyway. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cook the chicken. So what we're going to do is get a pan nice and hot, chuck a bit of oil in there, throw your chicken in, get it nice and browned all the way around, take it out, put it into a colander, a little bit of fat and the juicy straight off of it. Then in the same pan, a little bit more oil, don't clean the pan either. Same pan, chuck your mushrooms, get them nice and pan fried, take them out. Then we're going to get a clean frying pan, we're going to use this one. We're going to chuck the paste into a hot wok, start cooking it out, browning it, caramelising it, and then we're going to chuck the coconut milk in there, and I think it was 200 mils of boiling water in there. Going to bring that up to the boil, let it simmer and let it slowly start reducing. Once it gets down to a nice consistency, we're going to chuck the mushrooms and the chicken into the pan. Let that simmer until the chicken's just cooked. 3 or 4 minutes before that's ready to go, we're going to put the peppers, the mangetout and the sweet corn in there. Give that another couple of minutes until it just starts to go soft, and then we're ready to go. Cool. Once we get to the stage where we put in the coconut milk in with the curry paste, that's when we'll stick our rice on. Fingers crossed it should all come together at the same time. Famous last words. So, with the oil for cooking the chicken and the mushrooms, I'm using coconut oil, I'm using coconut milk. Makes sense. If you haven't got coconut oil, vegetable oil, rapeseed oil, will be absolutely fine to cook your chicken and your mushrooms in. Do not cook in olive oil. So, yeah. Half a tablespoon of your oil in there. Is that door shut properly? Yeah, like I say, all we're going to do is take the chicken, lay it in there, get it nice and brown one side, flip it over, nice and brown the other side, and then chuck it in the colander. Make sure you season your chicken before you cook it as well. A little bit of salt. Don't go crazy with the salt because obviously, you know, you've got salt in the fish sauce. We're going to season the other ingredients as we cook them. You know, you want to season it lightly, so you cook the salt into the food as you're cooking it, but not too much because you can always add a little bit of salt.
You can always add, you can't take away.
That's it. That's the nice thing. Here comes Alfie. Banging through the floor.
There might be some technical difficulties in a minute.
It'll be fine. Here comes trouble.
That smells absolutely gorgeous.
I love that coconut oil, it smells so strong, doesn't it? Right, so carefully, away from you, lay the chicken in there, start sizzling straight away. Like I say, get it nice and golden, either side. You're not going to be cooking it all the way through, just want to brown it up a little bit. If you can't get it all in one pan, do it in 2 batches, it's not a problem. I'll have to do it in 2 batches. Is that yours or mine? Don't play about with it too much as well. You can leave it a good 2 or 3 minutes colouring. Also, if anyone wants, that's my shopping list and my notes. If anyone wants that to, refresh it or them on a copy, let me know and I can send it over to you. Right. So you see, it's starting to golden up nicely, just flip it over. Again, you don't want to cook it too long, you're not cooking the meat, you're just sealing it off. The idea of sealing it off is all the flavour of the juices from the chicken, you're sealing that in. So when you cook the curry, you don't end up with a dry, tough old bit of chicken.
Becky's just text, she's on your live, said you're amazing.
My Becky?
No,
Your Becky,
my
sorry.
Becky.
Your Becky?
You can have her if you want.
No, that's alright. She still hasn't been round to fucking come and see me though, has she?
She will know you're cooking.
Pauline, it's nice to be cooking. It's been so long since I've been in the proper kitchen, so... Laura, no, I'm not back to work yet, I'm actually in my home. This is my home kitchen. I'm still not 100% sure when I am going to be going back to work. Fingers crossed it will be soon. So obviously, everyone's aware of what's going on in the world at the moment. As soon as I can get back to work, I will. You want to come a bit closer, Steve, so you can see this. When you're doing it, you give the pan a little shake every now and then, but try not to move the pan too much, because as soon as you move it or lift it off, you lose all that heat. So keep the pan still, just keep turning it, nice and golden, and then take it out, chuck it in your colander. Cheers, Lauren. Thanks for that. Yeah, 20 years. Fucking hell, it has been 20 years, hasn't it? No, it hasn't been 20 years. No, it hasn't been 20 years, is it? I'm 35 now. I left college when I was... No, it's fucking close enough for 20 years, isn't it? So again with this, you can take the meat as dark or as light as you want it. I'm not going to get it too dark. I'm just going to start caramelising it nicely.
You left college in 2002. About 18 years. Rounded off. 20.
Yeah, rounded off on it. Let's round it down. 15. 15 sounds better. Let's call it 15 years ago.
2020 don't count anyway.
Sorry?
2020 don't count.
2020 don't count, absolutely. 2020 you can get to... Can do one. Yeah, again, you can take the meat a little bit darker than that if you want, but like I say, it's a curry, so the main part of the cooking is going to be when we're cooking the meat. You get a little bit more colour on it like that. It doesn't help this oven, it's absolutely hungry. Oh, what's going on? Pre-made pastes, absolutely not a problem. Right, for me personally, fresh is always best. You see how quickly it took to make that paste, it's a 5-minute job. But, in today's world, not everyone's got 15-20 minutes standing around making pre-made paste, making your own paste. Pre-made ones, I've worked in kitchens where we've used pre-made ones. I'd always go for better quality ones. Some of them out there can be really, really salty and they're not nice. But if you've got a brand that you know and you like, it makes a nice curry, then absolutely no problem using pre-made ones. I'm not being funny how many people you buy, if you're making a lasagna, do you make your own cheese sauce or do you use the white sauce that you get in the Dalmio jars? Me, I use the Dalmio sometimes, I make my own cheese sauce sometimes, it swings and roundabouts. Pre-made ones, not a problem, as long as it's a decent one and it's not too salty. Right, so, once that's all nicely sealed off, drain that off in there, get your pan nice and hot again. Chuck the last bit of the chicken in there. Again, same with that, just get it nice and browned off. Then all we're going to do in the same pan is do exactly the same with the mushrooms. Get them nicely browned off. I'll get a few pieces out, what we could have got them in. Make sure you're washing your hands after you touch the raw chicken. Yes, yeah, fresh is best, definitely. Fresh is best. I would actually say everything that you see here today I actually went out and got from Morrison's and Sainsbury's this afternoon. Morrison's didn't have any lemongrass. Yeah. And my apologies to anyone that thought we were going to be doing this tomorrow night. Originally it was going to be tomorrow night, but I think Thursday nights are going to be better for me and my friends I go to the gym with. So we're going to be doing it Thursday nights from now on. Provided everyone is enjoying it and they still want to do it. Next week's dish is going to be, what did I say it was going to be? Pork chops. So we're going to do pork chops, homemade chips, homemade chorizo, ketchup, and we're going to do a black pudding Scotch egg. If you don't like black pudding, then you don't have to put black pudding in it, you can just do sausage mince instead, because it's half and half, sausage meat and black pudding. So if you don't like black pudding, not a problem, don't panic, you can just do it with sausage meat.
Sam's got a good idea. Start your own takeaway, coach, cook and carry.
You're funny, Regan. No, I ain't got the time to start doing all that. I've got a job. I just do this because I enjoy cooking at home, so, you know.
Winner chicken thai dinner.
Who's that? It's Michael. Michael, I messaged you the other day on Facebook, but you ignored me, man. I hope you're well anyway, Chef. Like, I see all the stuff that you're doing out in Cyprus, man. If anyone wants to check out a really good chef, one of my mentors, Michael Lipscomb, yeah? He's moved out to Spain and he's running just this amazing hotels and restaurants out in, not Spain, sorry, Cyprus. But Michael was the, oh my laptop's just gone off. See, put my laptop back. Michael was one of the chefs that taught me a lot of the stuff that I know today. So, thank you, Michael. If anyone's got any more questions, you'll have to bear with me for a second, my laptop's just died. So a little bit more oil in now. You shouldn't have gone out, you had full battery.
Might go to sleep.
No, there we go, back on that. There we go, back in the room. Right, so, again, a little bit more fresh oil in there. Don't worry about cleaning the pan, all that chicken colouring and brown and all stuff like that, that's all good. So again, with the same with the mushrooms, don't put too much in the pan at once. Put about half in there, a third in there. Just, again, get them nice and hot, nice and brown. Move them about a little bit. Tiny little bit of salt, season them, bosh, done. And then once they're all nice and brown and cooked, we'll turn them around, chuck them in with the chicken, and then we'll start making the sauce. Ooh, let me just refresh that, because it's died there. Are you still getting the questions coming through on that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be live. There'll be a live thing on here anyway.
Cool.
Right, that's definitely a goal. Right, we've got to get you on the next Tesco advert for that cook at home.
Fuck Tesco's. No, I ain't fucking about doing any of that shit. I appreciate everyone, you know, positive and all that, but you know, I do this for me. I do this for the love of cooking. You know, if I wanted to go and make loads of money, I'm sure there's other ways I could do it. But you know, I've learned one thing this year: money is not everything. Money is certainly not everything anymore. You know, for me, I've got my friends around tonight, my best pal is filming, and yeah, I'm just cooking for you lot. That's it. Oh, my laptop has got any. Need that. But, oh! 5 second rule.
Fix that fix it in the edit.
So yeah, you can see they're starting to brown up. You know, get a nice bit of colour on them. Again, if you need to put a little bit more oil in there, it's not the end of the world because you're going to drain it all off after. Thanks, Mum. So again, the same with these mushrooms, you can cut them whatever shape you want, you know. I've done dishes before where I've literally taken a nice big mushroom, cut it in half, pan fry one side, turn it over, normal butter, a bit of salt, thyme, garlic, you know. Sometimes vegetables like this, the less you do with them, the better they are, you know. You don't want to be messing about with too many different ingredients and spices and stuff like that. Sometimes the simplest thing is to just cook it how it's meant to be cooked, you know, just pan fry a mushroom, roast a piece of meat, you know, grill a piece of fish. You know, I know we've got all different spices and blends and stuff like that in here, but this is stuff that's proven to work well together. You know, sometimes, you know, less is more. You don't have to overcomplicate a bit of food, you know. For me, pan-fried mushrooms, a bit of nice sourdough, poached egg, you know, it couldn't be any simpler. It's lovely. It's got some of my favourite food. So yeah, once the mushrooms are nicely browned off, chuck them in with your chicken. It's not a drama, it's all going to go back in the sauce at the same time. No cross-contamination because you're going to cook it all out after anyway. A little bit knob of coconut oil in there. Again, let that melt, get it nice and hot, cook the last of your mushrooms, and then we're done with this pan. We're going to get a clean pan and we're going to start cooking out the curry paste with the coconut milk and just need to boil this kettle quicker. And then at that stage we'll get the rice on as well. So, you know, a lot of people ask me all the time, you know, what is the best way to cook rice, and you know, I'm really rubbish at cooking rice. Rice can be a difficult thing to cook, you know, but it's you know, we use these new rice cookers and stuff like that, right? They're fantastic. But for me, best way to cook it, double the amount of water to rice, make sure you wash your rice off really well, put it into a pan, boiling water, boil it for like 30 seconds, make sure you stir it, get it simmering, turn it right down on the lowest heat you can do, put a lid on it, which reminds me, I need to get a lid out, and then just leave it to just cook in its own. If anyone's out there that hasn't got a lid for their saucepan, depends on how big your saucepan is to cook your rice, just put a plate on top of it. You know, like if you ain't got lids for your saucepans, you've got a little plate like that. Gosh, that's your lid. Just be careful when you take it off because obviously the plate will get up. But yeah, that's your lid. If you definitely come round tomorrow, Becky, I'll save you some, definitely. Andrew, can you remember some of the stuff we used to eat when we was on camp though, mate? God. We used to mix the right stuff. I think there's one thing that I probably have not eaten since I was in the Scouts, Andrew, was mixed corned beef hash. Oh mate, it was literally equal amounts of corned beef, mashed potato and tomato ketchup all in a big pan, and then just mix the shit out of it, and I think they serve it with peas or something like that. But when you was on Scout camp, you know, it was just like, get it down your neck, innit?
Do you know what I'd do? That and chuck it in a bread or make a toasted corned beef hash sandwich.
Look.
Oh no, it's lovely.
And my taste has got a little bit refined as I got older. I think about some of the stuff I used to eat when I was younger, I was just like, what was I doing? So again, guys, obviously I'm doing this, you know, step by step to show you guys how to do it. If you wanted to be cooking your chicken and your mushrooms at the same time in different frying pans to make it quicker, then of course you could do that. You know, you could get the sauce on one pan, have your mushrooms in another pan, have your chicken in another pan to make the cooking time quicker. You don't have to do it the way, like, one bit at a time. I'm doing this to show you each part of the cooking process. You know, so like I said, one pan full of chicken, one pan full of mushrooms, one pan for your sauce. You do it in a third of the time. Right, so again, mushrooms, nice and brown. Again, you ain't got to take them too far, it's up to you, take them as long as you want. Right, and then that pan is done. The reason I'm not going to cook anything else in that pan is because if I start cooking the paste in that pan, where it's already started to caramelise a little bit with the mushrooms and the chicken, you don't want to burn your curry paste. So what are you going to do now? Drop the heat of the stove down just a little bit, have it on like a medium heat, because you don't want to roast this, you don't want to grill it, you don't want to colour it too much. All you want to do is to start softening the onions and the lemongrass and all that up and just start cooking it a little bit. And then we'll add in the, what do you call it, the coconut milk. Right, so not too much of this in here, get a spoonful of that. So you want to get this pan nice and hot, melt all that, and all you're going to do is chuck all of your fried green curry paste in there, like that. And just give it 2 or 3 minutes in there. Don't let it catch to the bottom of the pan. You're not colouring it, you know, just make sure it's all spread out across the bottom of the pan. There we go. And that smell as well, right? If you're doing this now at home or when you do this, the smell will be, you know, amazing. You've got the fish sauce in there, you've got the coriander, the garlic. Is that better with a light?
Shows the colour of it. It does smell absolutely banging though. You can probably smell the fish sauce.
That's the thing, again, with the fish sauce, that's another ingredient. You don't have to add the fish sauce. You put the ingredients in there that, you know, to your liking, you know. You don't like fish sauce, don't put it in there. Don't like garlic, don't put it in there.
Are there people out there that don't like garlic?
You'll be surprised actually how many people, you know, will say, oh, you know, I've actually had people say to me I'm allergic to garlic. I don't know if you can be allergic to garlic. As far as I'm aware, it's not one of the main 14 or 15 allergens, but we've had people, you know, oh, I don't need garlic, you know. A lot of the food I cook at work, you know, some of the sauces and the stocks and the purees and the stuff like that we make at work, they have got garlic in them. But you wouldn't take some of the carrot puree, or you wouldn't take some of the, you know, the lamb sauce. You wouldn't try that and think, oh, that's got garlic in it. It's in there. It's part of the process. It's something to enhance the flavour of the overall sauce. But you wouldn't taste it and go, that's got garlic in it. You wouldn't even know it's got garlic in it. You just wouldn't. But yeah, people do say, oh, can I add that without garlic? Right. I think what I am going to do as well, once I've added the coconut milk and the water, I think I'm going to get the hand blender in there and just blitz it up a little bit, just to see if I can get it a little bit more tasty. But we're good to go. So yeah, as you can see there, it's still kept quite a lot of its colour. It's still nice and green. Hasn't started to go brown or anything. We've cooked that out enough. All we're going to do now is chuck the coconut milk in there. Again, be careful. Pour it away from you so you don't, you know, splash it up yourselves. And then we're just going to, in the same jug, top it up with 200 ml of boiling water, cold water, don't matter, like that, and then just add that to it as well. Ooh, there goes my handle. And you'll see straight away, as you stir that in, it starts to go nice and green. There we go, look at that. You know what, I'm not going to blitz that, all that, you know, leaves and all that, it's going to be lovely. So all you're going to do now is, first thing I'm going to do is put my cookie down, because it's driving me absolutely nuts. Right, so now, sorry, going to bring this up to the simmer, leave it, simmer it 2 or 3 minutes, just going to start reducing it, don't boil it too much, you don't want it to boil over. Yeah, corned beef hash was alright back in the day, but... Right, so yeah, where are we? Alright, at this point as well, adding your stock cube. Again, any sort of stock cube, vegetable, meat, not a problem. You could do a prawn type green curry if you wanted to as well. I'm not being funny, if you wanted to pan fry a load of prawns separately and bring a load of prawns in there, not a problem. A little bit of stock cube in there, job done. A couple of kaffir lime leaves. How many leaves was it? 6. So I got these out of Morrison's, was actually quite surprised. I wasn't expecting to be able to get hold of these. I'm going to put a couple of them in there at the end, we'll just take them out at the end.
So do you treat them the same as bay leaves? Like if you're doing a spaghetti bowl?
Not really, no. These are more of a lime leaf, so these are just... Well, yeah, I suppose so. You would have to, you would eat them, like a bay leaf, you would take them out after, definitely. Alright, so you see this is just coming up to the boil now. So we're just going to simmer that gently. So, now for the rice. Rinse my jug out quickly. So, yes, it's double the amount of rice, water to rice. So the rice has been washed off, you might use that. Pop that into a saucepan. Am I going to need a bigger pan? Yeah. Is that a bigger saucepan? Yeah, that'll be quite a bigger pan one. Well organised today, isn't it? That's the pan I want. I'm always worried with rice that if I'm not cooking it in a big enough pan, it's going to fluff up and it's just not going to cook evenly. So, okay. Put the rice in that pan. That's better. With 2 pans dirty for no good reason. Yeah, so rice into a pan. That was 120, so I need 240 grams of boiling water. I'm only using boiling water just to make it quicker. So pour that in there, like that. What you're going to do, pop that on in, bring that up to the boil, and then drop it down to a low heat. Meanwhile, your Thai green sauce should be reducing nicely. That'll help it thicken up a little bit. And it's at this point, if you want to have a glass of wine, you could. Just wait. Almost done. I say, if you simmer it for 5 to 10 minutes, right there you go. The rice water is just coming up to the boil now. I'm just going to pop a lid on it, simmer it for a second, and then I'm going to drop it down to the lowest heat I can, and then, yeah, hopefully that'll be cooked. Fingers crossed. Famous last words. So yeah, once this has been simmering for 10 minutes, we're going to chuck the chicken and mushrooms back in there, cook it for another 3 or 4 minutes, just to, until the chicken's cooked. A couple of minutes before it's ready to go, we're going to chuck in all the vegetables, squeeze the lime juice, and that's pretty much ready to go. And right at the end, just as we're dishing up, we'll chuck a load of fresh herbs in there. So, yeah, should be good. Just got to have all this nonsense a little bit so I can lay some plates. Is Kerry going to have some of this or not today?
Yeah, she'll give it a go. If not, it's just more for me, isn't it?
Yeah, mate.
Just doing toast for dinner. next week, toast.
Next week, toast.
Toast.
Cheese on toast. I've got cheese on toast for ages. So, has anyone else got any questions? Sensible questions?
Oh, finally Amy's watching.
Oh, she's watching now, is she?
Yeah, finally.
She's sort of a kid,
Finally.
Stay, look. So that rice is just coming up to the boil there. Which I'm going to do, I say, leave the lid on it, put it off, turn it down to a right low heat, and just let the low heat and the steam cook the rice. 10 minutes, that'll be done. Again, once it's done, you can just put it off as long as you leave the lid on it, keep the steam in there, fluff it up with a fork, you'll be good to go. You haven't got to dish it up or eat it straight away. Who's doing the washing up? Amy. Me and Steve will clean up after. We cleaned up last week, didn't we, Steve?
Yeah, there was too much salt apparently, so I had to sit down. Too much
At this
salt.
stage, give it a taste, you know.
Palm sugar can be put in also if sauced.
Yeah, you can put palm sugar in it, absolutely. I've got curry recipes where you put palm sugar in it.
That sounds proper nice actually.
Yeah, so if I was going to put palm sugar in it, it would be at this stage. No, just crush it right up, soften it, put the palm sugar in there, cook it out. Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
What was that curry we made where we just chucked everything in the slow cooker and left it?
Oh, I think that was like, I think with curries and stuff like that, you know, you've got all these different types of curries and stuff like that, but it's all down to your own preference. I think it was more like a booner. It had spices in it, but it wasn't spicy. There was potatoes in it. There was a lot of tomatoes in there. There was a lot of flavour in there, but it wasn't very spicy. For me, it was just a booner. But there was loads of flavour in there. Loads of flavour in there. Oh, Michael's just messaging back later. Cheers, mate. Like I say, Michael Lipscomb, he was a big, I've worked for some quite, famous chefs and stuff like that, but Michael Lipscomb was definitely one of the biggest, influences in my career. He was the one that, not made me, but actively encouraged, I think is the best way to put it, to go and work in Michelin-star restaurants and go and do that sort of life, because it's quite a different sort of life, you spend 90% of your time in that kitchen with a certain group of people, and it was hard. It was hard, but I definitely learned a lot from it. But yeah, I owe Michael a lot. Yeah, definitely. So as you can come close, as you can see, like now he's simmering. You can see it's starting to slowly thicken up a little bit. So just leave that for a little bit longer. Is anyone cooking along? Mark Webster, can you do fish curry? Tom loves it. Yeah, you could do fish curry. You could do this with fish if you wanted to. Obviously you'd have to put the fish in. Depending on if you've got like big chunks of cod or something like that, you'd put that in really close to the end because you don't want to overcook the fish and then it goes like mush. This would be perfect with prawns. Just get a nice big prawns, pan fry them, grill them, whatever, chuck them in there. Prawns would be absolutely fine. I don't particularly like fish curry myself. I'm not a fan of the old fish curry, but yeah, definitely you could do this with fish, no problem.
You still add the fish sauce in the puree, or swallow that
Yeah,
salt?
yeah, you could do it all exactly the same. And again, if you don't like fish and you're thinking, that's my curry's got fish in it, it's not, you know, it's not a problem if you don't put it in there. It's not the end of the world. Absolutely not the end of the world. Right. So now this is reduced enough. Make sure, you know, we can pop all the chicken and all the mushrooms in there like that. Well, I don't know if I'm going to have enough room in this pan to get all the vegetables in, but once that's in there like that, you'll carry on cooking it. You can turn it down a little bit now, so you can just simmer it. Where's the simmer? There we go. Turn it down to a low medium heat. Just simmer that for a little bit, and then give that 3 or 4 minutes. Chuck all your vegetables in there. Give it another 3 or 4 minutes, and you're pretty much done, to be honest.
Thai basil or regular basil, both options are great.
Thai basil, absolutely 100% would be better, but you know, if you can get Thai basil, fantastic. Unfortunately today, Morrison's to Sainsbury's, they didn't have Thai basil. But yeah, 100% Thai basil would be a good shout without that. Cheers, Paulina. Thank you. Paulina's daughter was watching, she said it's banging. Good girl. So yeah, leave that to simmer for another 3 or 4 minutes. Just to carry on cooking the chicken. Like I say, with all the bits of herb and stuff like that you can see, and the lemongrass is in there, if you've got a better food processor, then that paste will be even better. But it's not the end of the world, it's a curry at the end of the day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Is there 18 people watching?
Yeah, it was over 30 at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Numbers and the numbers.
Nah, mate, I'm not worried about numbers, you know what I mean?
Just don't tell her that's mushroom. Tell her it's all chicken.
What?
It's one less thing for her to go, no, I don't like it.
Kerry don't like mushrooms, don't you? Obviously, keep an eye on your rice. Try not to take the lid off too much. Give it a little shake if you think you need to top it up a little bit of water. It's not a problem. You just use boiling water and a little pan on it so it go dry. Make sure you get it all off from the edges. Should probably get some plates out, really. Are you going to have some of this thing?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat the last one, it was all fish and stuff.
Yeah. Pork chop one next week is going to be banging. Your Abby's going to have some as well, Steve. I don't think I'm going to have enough left for Becky. Never mind.
Oh well, serves her right for being inconsistent with her visits.
Do you hear that, Becky? Well, like I say again, guys, with this sort of curry, you know, if you haven't got this sort of time in the evening or after work to spend this long doing a curry, you know, one of the things that, you know, we've been going to the gym when I've been on this, you know, I say diet, but don't think I'm like, you know, it's a good diet, you know, it's about, you know, managing your macros and calories and stuff like that. You know, I can still go out and have a Greg sausage roll if I want. You know, it's not really restrictive, it's balanced and it's healthy. Something like this, you know, again, one of the things I've been doing is making sure like my meal preps, getting stuff ready the night before, organising so I know what I'm eating the next day. There's no reason why you couldn't get that Thai curry paste ready, put it in a container, put a lid on it, bit of cling film on top of it and have that ready the night before. You know, all your vegetables, you can get all that ready the night before. All this sort of stuff can be pre-prepped, you know, you can do it in bigger batches. If you wanted to do all this and prep it, bring little containers and reheat it, you know, as long as obviously you make sure you reheat it and it's proper hot when you reheat it, you know, not a problem. You know, you haven't got to spend this time doing it. The reason it's taking me this I'm doing it is I'm doing it step by step with you guys. Again, you know, you could do a lot of this at the same time, not a problem.
Tom wants to know, are you going to do more live videos and will you do requests on what to cook?
Absolutely, yeah. This is only the second one I've done. The one I done last week, I only done it for my gym group. This is the reason I'm doing it, is because there's a lot of people at the gym that I go to asking questions about food. You know, when you're training and dieting and stuff like that, you know, food's a big part of that. And I've always struggled with food over the years because when I'm at work, I'm eating cream, butter, salt, you know, I'm tasting stuff I'm eating all day. And for me, being on a diet was quite a big challenge. It was quite scary to be on a diet. I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm on a diet, you know, I can't have anything, you know, it's going to be horrible. But it ain't. It's actually been enjoyable, you know. I'm tracking what I'm eating and I'm enjoying it. I'm messing about with different recipes. I'm trying new things. with cooking, you know, and yeah, it's quite fun. This is quite high in protein, it's high in carbohydrates, but it's quite low in fat, believe it or not. So this is a really, really good dish to have if you're on a controlled diet. So yeah, I'm gonna carry on doing them. You know, the gym with Beyond Limits, they've been fantastic. They've helped me. You know, they started the first few I did actually come around and recorded them, pre-recorded them, and edit them for me. And for me to do this live a few weeks ago, I was like, no, fuck that, I ain't doing that live. There's too many people on Facebook that just hate, and I thought I couldn't be dealing with that. Nah, if anyone's on here and they want to give me grief, then fine, whatever, I can deal with that. But I'm doing this for my friends, I'm doing this for you guys, so yeah, I'll definitely be taking requests. Next week's dish is already organised. If anyone didn't hear earlier, we're going to do pork chop. I say triple cooked potatoes, but I'm not going to deep fry them because, you know, I haven't got to deep fry them because they stink, and two, I think just roasting them in a little bit of oil is sometimes better than completely deep frying them. We're going to do chorizo ketchup, so a little bit of chorizo, some fresh tomatoes, make a ketchup out of that, and then we're going to do a black pudding Scotch egg. So we're just going to do a really soft boiled Scotch egg. We're going to wrap it in half pork mince and half black pudding, again if you don't like black pudding, or pork mince, and then we're going to roll it in like an almond and oatmeal crumb, and then we're going to roast it in the oven. So we're not going to deep fry that either, and we're not going to cover it in breadcrumbs. We're going to do it oatmeal and what did I say? Almond. But yeah, if anyone's got any requests, this was one of the ones requests from my gym group. Everyone said, can we do a curry? I was going to go off and do like a spicy curry. I thought about doing a korma. I was going to do a jalfrezi or something like that, but I thought with this, it's a bit more, you know, there's a bit more going on to it. There's more, you know, if I was to make a chicken korma today, that's all you would be learning how to do is make a chicken korma. But this sort of curry, you know, there's so many different things you can do with it. I reckon that chicken's ready. Yeah, that's probably 2 or 3 minutes away, that chicken. So literally, with your vegetables, just literally bang them all in. Stir it all up. And the other thing with this as well, that recipe that I've put up there, that will do 4 people. If you want to half the amounts, quarter the amounts, absolutely not fine. Definitely need a bigger wok. Do you know what? I don't even think I've got a lid for this either. Yeah, there we go, look at that. There we go. Bring that back up to the simmer, and then with your rice, just get a fork. See that? There's not a lot of water left in there. It's not all sticking together. It's not all got like mush. Take the grain out, bite into it. If you've still got a bit of a bite, it's a bit chalky in the middle, pop the lid back on, leave it for another minute or so. The main thing is you don't boil it. If you boil it, you'll end up with mushy, nasty rice. Dan Shenango, I definitely need a bigger pan. You alright, Dan? How's it going, man? Good to hear from you.
One time, the size matters.
Like I say, it's curry, mate. All them vegetables, all that, push it all down, get the lid back on now. There we go. Like I say, with the curry, the main thing is you make it your curry. Put what you want in there. Put as little as much, you know. If you just want to have, chicken and mangetout, just have chicken and mangetout. You know, it's up to you, it's your curry. That's why I said doing a Thai green curry, you know, there's so much more you can do with it. Prawns, different types of fish, different types of meat. You can do it with lamb, you can do it with turkey breast. Now that's really high in protein if you want to do it with turkey breast. You know, you want to put some salmon in there, some prawns, anything like that. The reason we've done, you need to zoom out a little bit, the lens thing's got the curvy bit around there. The reason I've done this curry is because it's open to whatever you want to do. I say if I've made a chicken tikka, it will just be a chicken tikka. There's only so much you can do with a chicken tikka. You don't want to mess about it, otherwise it's not a chicken tikka. You know, same with a korma or a jalfrezi or something like that. That's just one curry. This, you know, do whatever you want with it. Go crazy, mess about it. Once you've got that paste and that sauce, you can put whatever vegetables you want in it.
You want to know what your favourite meal to cook is?
Oh, people ask me that all the time, and no, I haven't got a favourite meal. Not really. I just like cooking. My best section in the kitchen is on the sauce section, cooking meat and fish to order, you know, making sauces, puree, stuff like that. That's what I enjoy doing. My favourite meal I've ever eaten, probably going to be one of two. Amy took me to a friend's restaurant called in London for my 30th, and me and a group that I used to work with at KPMG, we went to Tom Kerridge's Hand of Flowers, and that was just amazing, absolutely fantastic. I've eaten at City Social, that again, fantastic. But for me, just a nice bit of steak. A nice bit of steak. Love a nice bit of steak. I think the best place I've ever had steak at was one of Jason Atham's places. It's not open anymore. It was Temple and Sons. It was only there for a little while. Unfortunately, it didn't really take off. But yeah, we had a Côte de Bœuf, me and Amy. That was phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. And when we go to Ramsay's as well, Regan, what's happening with that? Sam was meant to be taking me and Amy out to go to a Ramsay's place, but...
Speaking of Sam, she's got a good shout. Needs to do some paella and tapas.
Paella and tapas. See, so if you want to paella and tapas, I've got a really good chef friend of mine that he's doing his own business at the moment, and he's doing all tapas and paella and stuff like that, and he's absolutely banging. I'll put his link in the description. Might have gone a little bit overboard with the vegetables, but if you're going to do it, you want to do it right, innit? Yeah. This is going to feed. You see how much I've got in here? This is going to feed 4 people all day long. Yes, I probably could have gone a little bit less with the vegetables and the. Yeah, probably could have put a little bit less vegetables in it, but a lot bit funny for me. Curry night. Curry night is always about having friends round. Nice big dish of curry, nice big bowl of rice, and you all just get stuck in. You know, that's what curry is for me. Now, if you go out to an Indian restaurant, you know, you don't order a little bit of food, do you? You just get a table full of food and you all tuck in. You know, when we work with my friends around and we get Chinese, we all order bits that we like and we'll just tuck in. None of that Gavin and Stacey bullshit. You know, share a little bit of everything.
I'm eating in the car.
Except for the crispy chili chicken. That's mine. That is mine. That rice is almost perfect. Leave that for another minute or so. On the back, I'm going to flip it. Oh, flash. So now my chef friends are probably watching me do this thinking, look at the mess he's making. Yeah, well, my kitchen, my mess. So you got to remember, if I was doing something like this at work, I've got more pans and frying pans and pots and stuff like that you can shake a stick at. So, do I like steak tartare? Yeah, do you know what? I used to work in a place called Bistro Tech years and years and years ago, and they used to do a steak tartare in there, and they'd actually serve it with a raw egg yolk. They'd get fresh eggs in every day. So it was a nice big, I think it was about 120 grams of the mix all together. So that was about, I don't know, 80 grams of raw prime cut turkey steak, onions, Dijon mustard, gherkins, capers, all that sort of stuff mixed together, and then the total portion size was about 120 grams. And then get a back for a spoon, make a little like press into the top of the meat, and then put a whole raw egg yolk on top of that, and then just a little crack of salt and pepper over the top, and that was it. And yeah, I love steak tartare, tuna tartare as well. You know, I don't mind sushi, but some of the places that, you know, especially local to me, that sell, it's gone off again. You know, sushi's got to be done right. Sushi's not one of those things. Same as steak tartare. You know, go steak tartare and the meat's a bit brown. It's not good. You know, steak tartare's got to be like a prime cut, like a fillet, or I think you can use rump as well actually. But it's got to be a prime cut, nice centre cut. Same with tuna. You want it centre cut, closest to the bone. And yeah, steak tartare, definitely a yes. Do you reckon this is just locking itself, Steve, because I'm not using it, where it's just on the thingy?
Yeah, it's more than likely.
Safety precaution. Clean as you go. Yeah, definitely, always clean as you go. So all I've done now, is that in the right place? All I've done now is I've just turned the heat up a little bit, just bring it back up to the boil, make sure it's all nicely cooked. It goes all mixed up like that. Right, so 2 things I need to buy: bigger blender, a better blender, and a bigger pan. I honestly thought that pot was going to be big enough for that. I really did. Never mind. Get a bigger house, I'll get a bigger kitchen. I'll keep it now. So all we're waiting for now, guys, so we'll check a piece of chicken in a minute, make sure that's nice and cooked. If the chicken's cooked, you know, I think we're ready to dish up. Vegetables will still have a little bit of a crunch in them. I think I just quite simply put too many vegetables in there, but it's not a problem, you know, I like nice vegetables in my curry. But again, if you make this at home, just put less vegetables in it basically. And yeah, that's pretty much it really. So dish it up. Check this rice out. Steve. So with the rice, as you can see, pretty much no water.
The worst sound in the world. Just
yeah, I know. Yeah, there's no water left in there. It's not all stuck together. It's all flaking apart like that. I am still going to drop it into a colander, just in case there is a little bit of water in there. Just strain off the excess like that. Pop that over. Pop that one out. Look at that. Of course, the other thing you can do as well is you can cook the vegetables first. If you want to get a big pot of water on, drop your vegetables in some boiling salted water. Lightly cook them first, take them out, drain them off, and then pop them in there. That's absolutely fine as well. You can do that. Again, I say the whole reason I chose to do this curry tonight is, you know, you can edit it and mess about and do with it as you wish. So at this stage, just give it a little taste. You know, check the seasoning on it. If it needs a little bit more salt, add a bit more salt. If it needs a little bit more lime juice, add a bit more lime. That's going to be just what I do. So what we do, take a nice big piece of chicken, just pull it apart. I'm sure, there we go, that's perfect. I'm sure everyone watching this knows when chicken's cooked. I'd expect people to know when a piece of chicken's cooked. If you're not sure, just get a nice big bit, cut it up. If you think in the middle, it's not cooked. But if you follow the times to what I've said, I pretty much guarantee it will be cooked, as long as you haven't put a whole chicken breast in there. Your vegetables are still going to be they're going to be soft, but if you'll have a little bit of a bite to them. Again, if you want to put the vegetables in sooner, so the vegetables are cooked more, it's not a problem. Absolutely fine. Oh, fucking hell. I wonder if the sweet them up before. Don't feel now.
we'll fix it in the edit.
What?
We'll fix it in the edit.
No, it's a surprise, not really, isn't it? So there we go.
Just
And what
make
we're going to do
it.
now is take the fresh basil and coriander. I'm going to take half of it, chuck it in now. Mix that in a little bit. That will just liven it back up, give it a bit more of a fresher coriander flavour. And then that is pretty much done. Hopefully it's hard to put that on there. See if I can do it again without spilling it. Gosh, done. Right, there we go. So that's it again with the vegetables. They'll have a little bit of a crunch in them, they'll have a little bit of a bite into them. Me, I like that. I don't like soft, mushy vegetables. I don't like biting into it and it'll just, you know, it'll make your sauce rubbish. It won't be nice. You want a nice bit of a bite into it. If you don't like it like that and you want it a bit softer, put the vegetables in earlier. You know, when you add your mushrooms and your chicken or fish, prawns, whatever, add the vegetables in straight away. They'll cook and they'll be softer. It won't be a problem. If you want to put less vegetables in, put less vegetables in. If you want to put more chicken, more chicken. It's entirely up to you. Once you've got that curry paste and you've got the coconut milk and you've got that sauce, what you add in it then is entirely up to you. You know, it's the greatness of this dish. You know, just make it your own. So, spoon for the rest. Ladle for the chicken. I'm only going to dish one plate up and then I'm going to say goodnight because I've got loads of friends around and I'm going to feed them all. So, nice spoonful of rice in the middle. Again, you want more rice, you add cook more rice, you want less rice, cook less rice. Get a nice bit of all of it. All mixed up like that. Watch out for the lime leaves, you can pick them out. I'm trying to play it up like I wouldn't work like a chef, but no, it's not about that, it's just about good food tasting great. Nice bit of sauce over the top. Don't be shy with it, there's plenty. Bit of fresh herbs over the top. And I forgot to wedge me down. Forgot to wedge me on. Wedge your lime with it, squeeze it over at the end. That's it, done. Simple. Thai green curry and rice. Cool. Any questions? Anyone got any other questions?
So
Cheers Andy, thank you.
there will be a shortened video going up with a recipe list and bullet points as well, so that's just the application.
Yeah. But if anyone's got any questions for me now, I'll give it another couple of minutes and I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. I hope you do cook this, I hope you do try it. You know, if you've got any questions, if you're on my Facebook and you're watching this, I'm on your Facebook, so if you've got any questions, you can private message me, reach out to me, give me a call if you've got my number, whatever, it's not a problem. I'm not at work at the moment, so I'm happy to give anyone some advice and some help if they want it. Just let me know. Again, make it your own curry. Take this and do as you wish, you know. If you want to do it exactly the same, not a problem. If you want to stick some prawns in it, absolutely fine. Just, you know, keep it simple, don't mess about too much. Cool. That's it, I'm going to call it a night, I'm going to make my dinner. Have a nice evening everyone, have a lovely weekend, and hopefully I'll see you next Thursday. Oh yeah, it's going to be a Thursday night thing, not a Friday night thing, because the reason I'm doing this is for my friends at the gym, and we go to the gym on a Friday, don't finish till 8:30, so if I start cooking at 8:30, it's going to be ridiculously late, so I think this is going to be a Thursday thing from now on, at least until I go back to work. I might change it to a weekend thing once I go back to work, but for now, it'll be Thursday nights. If you've checked out the link to this live stream, go and check out the gym I'm at, Beyond Limits. They're honestly a fantastic bunch. It really ain't just the gym, you know. I've been going there 3 months now and I couldn't be more welcome. It's not like going to a normal gym where it's just loads of meatheads and it's uncomfortable and the trainers there are fantastic. They know exactly what they're doing. You know, you can reach out and talk to them whenever you want. The link to their website is in the description. If you're in my area, Thurrock and around that area, I'd definitely give it a check out because it can definitely give you a better way of thinking about being healthy and stuff like that, about freaking out about diets and all this setting up. So definitely check out Beyond Limits. And on that, have a lovely evening and I'll see you later.